Hello, I am Kathy, and this is Duality Unfolding. I want to welcome you back. So, for this reading, I'm going to be offering you guys a reading for the next 3 months of 2023, which is actually the last 3 months of the year. Yep, Ben's here, which is kind of crazy to think about that the year is almost over because I feel like it started super slow and then March came and it just kind of took off, and then here we are. It's a couple days before October. So I have 4 different readings for you guys, and I will also be sharing my personal reading at the end, just like I have for the last couple readings. So I will show you cards for each group, and then you can see which crystal resonates for you. As always, you can watch more than one. You can start watching one, and then if it doesn't feel like it's the right reading for you based on the vibe check, then you can pick another one. For this reading, what I will be including is a love reading, a mindset reading, an action reading, and a money reading. So I'll pull 4 different tarot cards as well as an oracle card, and we'll kind of go through and get like a big picture look at the rest of the year. So group 1, your card is Jade, and the message is be the bigger person. Group 2, your card is Carnelian. The message is feed your creativity. Group 3, your card is Rhodochrosite, and the message is remember your worth. And group 4, your card is Unakite, and the message is live in the now. So take all the time that you need, and I will see you in the reading. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in whichever readings you pick. Thanks. Hello, group number 1. So if you chose the Jade card with the message be the bigger person, this is your reading. So I have pulled cards for you from the Vox Arcana, the Voice of Taro. I really enjoy the artwork in this deck. So for your reading, we are going to look at one major arcana card for your vibe check, as well as an oracle card that's kind of the energy of the month, as well as cards for like love and connection, mindset and communication, like physical energy, action, and then money and resources. So the tarot card, or the major arcana card that I have for you, is the High Priestess. So this energy is really deeply like intuitive, deeply spiritual. It feels very internal. So like going kind of doing some deep introspection right now. Really kind of like tapping in, like tuning into yourself, like kind of, I think, coming into this season of fall, like as the world kind of gets a little bit chillier, the leaves are falling off the trees, the days are becoming shorter. You are moving into a time when you're getting kind of like you're getting really cozy with yourself, right? That you're taking the time to kind of shut the world out. Like I can see you like on a couch with a blanket, like, and a book. Like it's very cozy. You might have a fireplace. If so, I am jealous. I would love a fireplace. But it's like very like kind of orange, glowy light, like just really like lovely, cozy cup of tea. Like it feels really good. Like it feels like the end of a long week, and just kind of taking time to just be with yourself, by yourself, in your own energy. Nothing to do, nowhere to be, nothing to prove, just kind of allowing yourself to like relax. It's very much like that vibe, right? Where it's like one of those days where like it's the evening, you don't have any plans, like you don't have any plans the next day, like you don't have to wake up early. There's like nothing pressing, right? So it feels like that kind of weight off the shoulders energy, which it also feels like that's excuse me, it also feels like that's very different for you. Like that's not the normal of how things have been this year. And so it feels like this shift into this new season, like you're kind of almost like lining up with the energy of the season, right? Like, okay, the season's shifting and I'm going to shift too. So I love that. It's like just love. It's lovely. The oracle card that I pulled for you is Beauty. And so it's a woman like brushing her hair and like this admiration of self. And I don't know why this almost looked like a person kind of. So I don't know if maybe you have angels that you're in tune with, like maybe you have spirit guides, maybe you have like ancestors, someone that's like not in physical form, but energetically like very close, kind of like nearby you all the time, like around you all the time. And it feels like this beauty isn't about like physical features. It's not about like, even though she's looking in a mirror, and like, you know, brushing her hair, it feels like there's this presence that's around you that's trying to really, it almost makes you think of like Reiki. Like, if you are familiar with Reiki, it's like Japanese energy healing, where like the Reiki practitioner is essentially like a vessel for moving energy. And a lot of times Reiki healers will, it comes through the hands. And so like they'll either put hands on or hands near people, but it almost feels like your energy guides are like they're trying to, like they're around you and like they're trying to almost like push this energy of like seeing what your beauty is, what your value is. Like they're energetically like trying to inject you with like self-love. And it makes sense now. I feel like a lot of times like in our culture, maybe in our current state of like existence as like the human species, like a lot, because we're visual, the majority of us, when we feel like we look good, then we feel good about ourselves, right? So like there's a lot of focus on like how like your body looks and like how your face looks and how your hair looks and like all these different things that make us more visually appealing based on societal norms that we've all agreed to that really don't have anything to do with beauty. And so I think that like, I feel like that's why this came up, right? Because, you know, like, I remember reading like this article about like tanning, and like this is a very long time ago when maybe tanning is still a thing now, I don't know. But like when tanning was really popular, but before they had done all this research to figure out that like it's, you know, like the type of rays that are used in the tanning beds, like they're like they age you much faster, and then also like I don't know if they lead to cancer. I don't know. Anyway, the article that I read was talking about how people who are tan, white people who are tan, feel much more attractive than when they're not tan. And so, like, I'm saying all that with this card because, like, in the 3D plane that we are in, physical beauty is almost like this gateway to self-love, right? And so like your guides are trying to energetically inject self-love into you, that has nothing to do with like your beauty, but it's almost like they're trying to fast track you. Like they don't want you to get caught up focusing on your physical aesthetic to feel good about yourself. They just want you to feel good about yourself. Like, you don't need to lose 10 pounds. Like, you don't need to like beat up your face every day. Like, you don't need to worry about your hair. Like, you don't have to buy these clothes. Like, just here's a bunch of self-love, because there's something that you need to do, but you're not ready yet. So until you can love yourself, you won't be able to do the thing that it is that you're here to do. Just, sorry, that was very long, but important. So, yeah, so that's going inward, spending that time in your own energy, and really like being open to loving yourself. And I feel like those really go hand in hand, right? Because when we love others, we want to spend time with them. Just like when we love ourselves, like we want to invest in ourselves. Like we want to take that time to decline some offers to go out. We want to take that time to just make a really nice meal for ourselves and get like a little bit cozy and like put on our favorite jammies and like make our favorite tea. So yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of increase in self-love for you over the next 3 months, which is really lovely. Interested to see this jade. Well, this jade card, jade is associated with the heart chakra. Green is associated with the heart chakra. In many Asian countries, jade is also associated with prosperity and money. So let's see what comes up. So the first card that I have for you in cups, interesting, is this Five of Cups card. And so Five of Cups is sometimes a card of grief. We can kind of see that this woman is, like when we look at her face, she's a little bit sad, right? She's wrapped up in a blanket in a different way. She's kind of in this protective posture. Like she's almost in this tree, right? Like this branch is kind of wrapping around her. She's very much like curled into it, almost the way like we would kind of like nestle into maybe something or someone else for comfort. And we've got these 3 cards that are spilled, and she's got her face facing towards them, but she's not looking at them. So to me, what it feels like is there was some kind of like hurt or loss, and it's a lot. Like it feels like it's too much to bear. I don't want to talk about it. I don't really want to think about it, but I can't not think about it. And so I think the big thing about the card is that like there's these 2 cups, right? That we had 5, 3 fell over, we still have 2. And there's only 1 person, right? So you only need 1. So you still, even though you lost 3, you still have 1 more than you need. And like in that time that, sorry, I feel like I have cat hair. I probably do have cat hair on me. I'm covered in cat hair, let's be honest. In that time when you are spending like that high priestess time alone with yourself, I would invite you to just kind of think about, you know, when the thoughts that you don't want to deal with come up around this loss, that you, if you can, try to think about the things that you still have, right? And not in this like toxic positivity way, like not in this like, well, at least I didn't lose everything, like not like that. Because I don't want you to like deny yourself the grieving process. But I feel like if you start to get into that kind of dark place where it's hard to come out of, these cups might be like reaching out to people for support, right? Like reaching out to a friend or 2 for support, or like figuring out, what do I need in this moment to help me feel better, right? Because sometimes I think that like when we have these losses, like we can't see past like what we're in the moment, right? And so like a lot of times like when we do reach out to people for advice, like some of the advice that we get is like, oh, a month from now, it won't even bother you. Well, sure, but like I feel like shit right now. Like in this moment, I feel terrible. So I don't care about a month from now, right? So like having those people that you can reach out to and actually reaching out to them, and then also just kind of asking yourself, like, in this moment, what do I need? And in this moment, it might be like, I just need to cry my face off. I just need to. Or it might be in this moment, I just need to distract myself with a game on my phone or social media or like watching a movie or eating some ice cream, right? That like we know that all these things happen for our best, highest good, but that doesn't make it easy. And sometimes the things that happen for our best, highest good are the ouchiest things. Like they really suck. It's like the worst. Like, you know, and I think we've all been in these places where we can kind of reflect back on things and it's like, wow, that was amazing that I made it out of that, and I don't ever want to do that again. No, thank you. Do not sign me up for that. 10 out of 10 would not recommend, right? But when we're in it, it's really hard to be in it, right? And so giving yourself the care that you need in that moment, and also like reaching out to people, I feel like is going to be helpful. The card that came up with your 5 of Cups is this Knight of Pentacles card. And so I don't know why this is giving me 2 of Pentacles energy. I think because he's got a pentacle here and then he's holding one. And so in the 2 of Pentacles, the card is very much about balance, but I kind of feel like whatever this loss is, that happened, you might have walked away from something, or you might feel like you're about to walk away from something. Even when we choose to leave, like it's still a loss, right? Like just because you initiate it, just because you make the choice doesn't mean it's any less of a loss. So, but what it feels like to me is like this 2 of Pentacles energy, that maybe you were juggling something for a really long time and you finally decided that like, nope, this is the thing I'm going to go with. You know, maybe you were unsure for a while, like not sure. And now it's like, okay, I made a decision, and like you're standing really strong in the decision that you've made. But it feels like there's still some hesitance to take action. And I say that because his body language, his face is looking away from the hand that's holding the pentacle. So it's like, I know that this is what's best for me, but I'm not quite ready yet. And that's okay, because Knight of Pentacles is very slow moving. And also this is over the next 3 months, right? So, for some of you, this might not have happened yet. But I feel like you know it's coming is how it feels. And then for others of you, like you're in that energy of where she is, like you have been kind of curled up, a little bit contracted to yourself, and like you know what you need to do, and the next 3 months you'll be doing it. For some of you, these 2 things together are what is going to be happening over the next 3 months. So that was the love and connection part. And so this doesn't necessarily, because it's love, but like we have different types of love, right? This can be romantic, this can be friendships, this can be family relationships. So that's why I said love and connections. Next is Swords, which is mindset, thoughts, communication. And we've got the 2 of Swords. And so to me, like this very much goes with this High Priestess card, not just because of the 2, but you're going to be looking for clarity, and it's going to come from your intuition, because we've got the Moon in both cards. But I say that because she's blindfolded, right? There's the situation she's in with her arms crossed with these two swords is it's awkward. It's awkward for the bot. It's an awkward physical position to be in, right? Because why would you hold two swords across your body? Maybe you're trying to protect yourself. But like, why would you have a blindfold on? It doesn't make sense, right? So I feel like this is kind of reflective of a mental state, right? That like, I'm not seeing things clearly, but I know something's going on and I don't know what to do. I'm kind of being pulled in two different directions, which, you know, we talked about with this Knight of Pentacles, like that Two of Pentacles balancing. And like, it doesn't feel good. And so I need to go within and make a decision. And so the accompanying card that came up is the Lover's card. And so obviously in this depiction, like it's looks like romantic lovers, but like the Lover's card represents Gemini, and Gemini is the twins. And so the Lover's card, it's not always about romantic relationships. Like sometimes the Lover's card is about our relationship with ourself. And so that's to me what this very much feels like, that, you know, if you've always been looking for love from someone else, if you've always been working to get like this external validation, that's not working anymore. And I think also like with your guides trying to teach you, like trying to really impart you and like push that, self-love into you, I think that's why this is getting really hard. Like that's why you're feeling really pulled and not confused. Like you don't feel confused, but you feel torn. Like I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Like nothing changed, nothing's happened, but like inside of me, like I feel like discombobulated and disconnected and weird, and like what is happening. And that's all coming up because your method of operating to get validation, love, approval from any kind of external sources, factors, whatever, it doesn't work anymore. It's not like I don't know if over the next 3 months like you're going through like a soul evolution, like through an upgrade, but maybe you've already gone through it and like now you're in this integration. It could be happening like with this full moon. Also, we're entering the middle of October, like starts eclipse season, but I feel like this full moon, like there's some interesting astrology, like there's I want to say there's a Uranus activation, and Uranus is kind of unexpected stuff. And it's in Taurus, which is like our value, our worth, beauty. But like the old habits don't work anymore, right? So if you're someone that has a coping mechanism of like, for me, like, so I used to be like a really bad emotional, not bad, but like emotional eating, like sweets and like pastries and things like that was like my go-to anytime that I felt bad. And then like I worked with a coach, and you know, she had asked me you know, like when you're doing this emotional eating and you're choosing like sugary things, right? Like the sweetness means something. So when you go to these foods, you know, she was like, I invite you to ask yourself, like, what areas of my life are lacking sweetness? And it was like all of them, but also like kind of realizing, oh, like I am someone that like, I need sweetness and tenderness and nurturing. And like, those are things that are really hard to get from other people. Right. And so how do I give those things to myself? And it feels like that type of like evolution, like internal evolution, is what you are going to be going through over the next 3 months. And so it makes sense that I saw you sitting on the couch, like really kind of curled up with yourself in your own energy, because like you are, and it sounds really cheesy, I get it, because I used to feel the same way when people would say it to me, like you're learning how to become your own lover, like you're learning how to become your own nurturer, you're learning how to like romanticize your life, you know. And like I kind of roll my eyes saying that because it's like, oh, gross, but you know, when we really think of like what it means to like be romantic, or like add romance into your life, it's a lot of like slowness, right? There's a lot of tenderness. There's a lot of like luxuriance, right? So like really nice fabrics and like roses and nicely scented things and like bubble baths and like chocolates, and you know, these are all things that you can get for yourself if that's what you're into, right? Like some people don't like chocolate, so maybe you like something else, but like finding those little extra things that you can do for yourself that nurture and offer yourself those extra feelings of like all these little extra things are a reflection of how deserved I am, and that's why I'm doing these things for myself. So that's the mindset communication part. Next is the action. And so, sorry, I'm looking at the bottom of this card. I don't know why it looks like a person, like a little gnome. I don't know. So it's the action card is Nine of Wands. And so for some reason I thought there was like a little gnome sleeping down here, and then I don't know why I just kept staring at it. But this Nine of Wands card, we can see this. It's been hard, right? And sometimes when it's just us and we feel like we have to always be on guard to protect ourselves, to defend ourselves, like that can leave us like feeling kind of a little bit like hesitant, cautious, unsure. You know, like we've got this woman standing here with this wand, but she's kind of looking down and she has one of her hands kind of gingerly reaching behind her, like not sure, not feeling super comfortable. So I feel like whatever you're coming out of recently, or whatever is coming up that you're having to walk away from or let go of, it's okay for you to not go like barreling out. Like you don't have to like rush out of the gate to move on to something else. And I feel like this card really supports that like it's okay if you kind of just want to hang back and stay where it feels safe, and stay where you feel protected, and even stay still. Like, you know, as the year's winding down, like this, especially coming into eclipse season, like this probably isn't the best time to like start new things. It kind of feels like the energy of like just kind of riding it out, like riding out the storm, right? So going back to that high priestess analogy that we talked about in the beginning, you know, like what more perfect weather to get cozy, you know, in your own home with a blanket and a cup of tea. You know, what better weather to have all that in than like kind of a storm, right? Where you just kind of wait it out and you got your candles and your fireplace, and if the power goes out, it's fine. You can sleep on the couch in front of the fire. It's not a big deal, you know? And so it feels like the next 3 months, like if you need to take a break, if you need to disconnect, if you just need to pause, like you're being fully supported to do that. The supporting card that came out was this Page of Pentacles. And it's just a really adorable depiction of the Page of Pentacles. He's, you know, pages are kind of like this really like young energy. And it really feels like this energy of like just slowing down to enjoy things, right? Where we've got this little, he's holding these two birds, but like this one's kind of pulling at his necklace, you know, and he's just looking at this little bird like, what are you doing? What are you doing, silly little baby? And just pausing, you know, pausing and staying in the places that make you feel safe and comfortable for as long as you need. And then also allowing yourself to have some kind of like quiet moments, like tender moments, like moments that you can enjoy just being wherever you are, right? And I think I might have said it in the last reading. The phrase like there's nothing to prove, there's nowhere to be, there's nothing to do, like that has been really prevalent for me like the last couple months. And so that's very much what this feels like nowhere to be, nothing to do, like just like it's okay. Pentacles are very slow moving. Pages, they're messengers, so I feel like this message is like, it's like, just take a load off. Like it's completely fine. And then the Pentacles cards that I have for you are Five of Pentacles. And this is very similar energy to like that Five of Cups. So it feels like it just feels like a reiteration of the same message, right? That like this kind of feeling, it's not fair, and but like it wasn't supposed to be like this, and like those, gosh, it's like those hard feelings of it's not like self-pity in the way that like there's no victimhood to it, right? That like it's really like an expression of pain. Like this Five of Pentacles, like this person is in pain and almost, kind of like looking up at God, like, but like why? Like why would you put me through this? Like why do I have to go through this? Like why? Like it wasn't supposed to be like this. And I feel like those are all valid feelings. Like that, when we go through things that are hard and unexpected and like really painful, we can choose to ignore the feelings and stuff it down and just like keep like head down, shoulder through it. Or we can allow like that pain and that hurt and those feelings to come up so they can come out, right? Because like even in the times that like this pain feels so visceral and like so big and so all-encompassing, it's also temporary. And that doesn't take any legitimacy away from like how important it is to your growth or how real it is for you. But like everything is temporary, right? So like this is not the feelings that you will have forever, right? But like you're being given an opportunity that like you can either keep stuffing it down and ignoring it and doing things the old way, which don't work. And you've kind of known that they didn't work, but you weren't ready to make that change yet. Or you can call on support, like you can seek out therapy, seek out professional help, seek out friends, like seek out additional self-care things to do for yourself and allow those feelings, that pain to come up so that it can come out. And I think when we haven't learned how to feel our feelings and be with our feelings, it feels so scary because it feels like if I let myself feel this pain, it's never going to go away. And that's not true. That like, I mean, you can see that in like, if you've ever read those stories about people that lose someone and then they continue to kind of live on and like, they kind of find this purpose or this mission that has to do with turning their pain into something productive. Like that feeling of loss, like this kind of feeling of like needing to be a little bit protected and contracted because we're dealing with the loss. That kind of is always there, but it's not as painful as the grief is when it comes up to come out. Like the grief, like whatever that looks like for you, whether it's sadness or anger or like rage or just like deep depression, like it feels really intense when it comes up, but we don't live there forever. Once we let it come up to come out, when we stuff it down, that's when it stays with us, because we're really like, you know, when we're stuffing things down, we're keeping it and we're holding on to it, right? So it's like we can either let that sadness come up and out so that it transmutes it and it goes somewhere else, and there's room for like us to call in more joy or just healing, right? Or calmness or rest. But if we stuff those feelings down, we just are holding on to them, right? I mean, just like we talk about baggage, like you just carry your baggage around with you. So that sadness card, or this Five of Pentacles card, came with this Hangman card. And so to me, the message feels like if you, the longer you hold off on allowing yourself to feel the feelings, the hard feelings that are ready to come up, the longer you will be kind of in this suspended state, right? And it almost feels like this, whatever this is, this isn't the first round of it. So it feels like you have been through this maybe a few times, and each time you just stuffed it down because you weren't ready, you didn't know how. Like feeling your feelings is really hard. Like it's not something that's intuitive. It's not something that everybody like knows how to do. Like most of us don't have caregivers, parents that modeled this behavior to us, right? This is, I think, in most cultures, like this is like, we don't do that. We don't talk about that. We don't do that. And if we do it, nobody sees us, you know, like there's very much like we live in a suppression culture. And so I say that because this Hanged Man is, he's real comfortable being suspended, right? Like he's got his arms propped up. He's got this leg bent. Like, well, let me at least move this one around since I can't move this one. Like instead of trying to get out of this, it's like, well, I've been here before. So how do I just relax into it and ride it out? But it's like, this isn't, you know, being in this suspended, stuck state, like this is not what's meant for you. And even if it's familiar and comfortable in a weird way, you have more important things to be doing. There's something, you have a higher calling, you have something much more important and significant to be doing than hanging out, suppressing the pain that's ready to come up and out. And so this card makes sense now. The message is be the bigger person. And so there's not necessarily conflict, because for whatever reason, for me, be the bigger person is like, put your ego aside and just kind of let them talk their shit and just ignore them and go about your business. But I feel like what this really is that like there's a bigger expanded version of you, this high priestess, like this higher version, your high self, that you're being called to become. Like you're being called to become the bigger person, to become a higher version of yourself. And until you can release the things that are holding you back, you can't do that. You can't grow, right? Until you can clear out that old dead soil, like you can't bloom into something new. So group number one, you I feel like the next 3 months you're kind of in this preparation phase. You're in this preparation phase for this up leveling that you are coming into. So some of you might be entering into that, like the very early stages of this up leveling. It's going to take time, right? Like it takes us time to grow and evolve. You know, I feel like I started doing like a lot of work in 2018, and I feel like I'm just now coming into this place where it's like, oh, hey, look at me, this shit's starting to pay off. Like 5 years later, 5.5. But like these really big changes, right? Like learning how to feel our feelings, like it's not a one and done, right? Because you're going to learn, like, this is phase one. This is the clearing out phase, and like, you're like, that's what I'm saying. You're just starting in this next 3 months, and like, you'll see progress for sure. Like, you're going to see things like I feel like in the times that you choose what feels safe and comfortable for you instead of doing what other people want you to do, the times that you are able to just find some joy in kind of the simple things of life by yourself, like, those are the times that you'll know that you're like growing and changing. And yeah, sorry, I had something weird happen and I was like, what does this mean? But yeah, group number 1, I feel like you are coming into the very beginnings of moving towards like becoming a bigger, expanded, higher version of yourself, which is really like, it's really an amazing thing. Because what that means is that you're starting to choose you. You're starting to choose the things that really matter for you. You're starting to choose the things that are really aligned for you and important for you. So, yeah, I think that's very powerful. So I hope that you enjoyed your reading, and I just want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 2. So if you picked the carnelian card with the message, feed your creativity, this is your reading. So I have pulled cards for you from the Yoga Tarot, as well as a couple other, the Tarot Mucha deck as well. And I'm pointing over there because it's sitting right there. So I have pulled cards for love and connection, mindset and communication, physical and action. So like physical body stuff maybe that will come up, or action that you need to take, and then money and energy. So the first card that I have for you is kind of a vibe check card. So this card is the Empress. The Empress is abundance, creativity, divine feminine, flow. There's like a stillness here. Kind of feels like just sitting in the bubble bath, or sitting in the bath, like just relaxed, laying back. A lot of nurturing, like self-nurturing, not in a rush. Like, for me, this card is very much like Taurus energy, like luxuriant, good quality food, like comfortable fabrics, like really comfy spaces, like things smell nice, clean, like a very nice, like homey feel to things, but also like a welcoming space for other people, right? Like, it's like that friend's house that like everybody wants to like spend time at, because like it just, the energy of it just, it feels really good. Like it just feels like super comfy and inviting when you walk in. And so the oracle card that came up is dreams. And so this makes you think of a bed, which is kind of weird. But that feeling is bed, like a bed, like a really, gosh, like when you have like those weeks when you're really exhausted and you're like, I just want to lay in bed. I just want to go to sleep. I just want to take a shower. I want to eat dinner and take a shower at 6 and then go to bed. Like maybe not go to sleep, but I just kind of want to lay in bed and be like comfy and cozy and nestled in. Like that is very much like what it feels like, which is very interesting because like the first reading, like there was big cozy vibes for that group as well. And so this, like that group, it felt a little bit different. Like this very much feels like intentionally resting your body. taking the time to intentionally rest your body, like restoration, that like, okay, we've been going really hard and can't keep doing that. So the first card that I have for you is Cups, which is around love and connection. And so we've got the Two of Cups, which is like this really lovely kind of true love card, right? That like Two of Cups is about partnership, like it's about two people like pouring into each other's cups, like very much a card of reciprocity, like a very balanced partnership, like both sides meeting each other, like both sides coming towards each other to meet in meet in the middle. But like I feel like that meet in the middle phrase kind of has to do with like what's the word? When both sides have to give something up so that you can compromise. Yeah, meet in the middle feels like compromise. That is not this. This feels like reciprocity. It feels like it's safe for me to move towards you because I can see that you're moving towards me at the exact same speed with the same intention. So this is very, this is really good. Like this is long lasting, whether that's like a romantic relationship or like a friendship or like any, even like a business connection, like a business partnership of any kind. Like this is really, really positive. It's very balanced. It's good for both people. Mutually receptive. That's the word that came up. The supporting tarot card that came up is the Hierophant. And so this feels like there's wisdom here. And it feels like you knew this was coming. Like you knew this was coming. Like there's this divine wisdom that you have. It almost feels like past life knowing, which is, I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe you knew this person from a past life. Maybe you knew this person from somewhere else. With the Hierophant typically being depicted as an older person, to me what this feels like is that you have known this is coming for a long time and you've just been patiently waiting, right? So we've got this Hierophant with like kind of arms up and like, I mean, in the card it's like actively kind of teaching, but it's there's not a lot of physical movement in the card, right? Just kind of sitting and waiting. Like this Hierophant's like, I'm going to sit here and wait for when people want to arrive for me to teach and share things with them. So it kind of feels the same way about like this love connection, that like, I'm just going to sit here in this one spot until my person arrives. This is very interesting. Yeah. And also very lovely. Yeah. So the next card we have is the Swords, which is about kind of mindset, communication. I'm gonna drink some tea. Sorry, my throat's a little bit weird today. I blame allergies. So for the Swords card, you got the Knight of Swords. So this is quick thinking, quick movement, very intelligent. You're able to kind of put things together really, really quickly. The other card, the supporting card that came up, is this Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands. And so the Ace of Wands is about like new beginnings, like literal, like new action. And so it feels like you can think things into reality. So, this is, sorry, I feel like I don't have anything to write with, but I need to make a mental note of this. That like you think it and it happens, right? And so, there's manifestation and then there's like, another level that like I don't know how it works. This is not how it works for me, but I know that there are people that like this is how things work for them. So I feel like you are one of those people where like you just decide something or you think something, and that process that you have, you kind of will it to happen. And it's not like willpower, you know, where like I think physical willpower is like, okay, I'm just gonna be resistant, or I'm just gonna have like the perseverance to just push and push until I can push this thing into happening. It's not that. Like, I feel like there's not words to make it make sense, but like essentially it's like you think something and you decide it, and then you just wait for this kind of big lightning bolt of action to happen in the universe where it makes it happen, right? That like that you can decide you can decide that you are going to change careers and the job that you want will find you, and you just decide that it's going to happen, and then maybe like a week later you're at a random place and somebody's like, hey, I work over here and we're hiring people and I think you'd be really good at this. Like we would love to have someone like you there, you know. And instead of being like, oh, I don't have the experience, you know, like you already knew this was coming. So you're like, oh, great. Like, do I need to apply, or like, is there an interview process? And they're like, no, like I'm the scout, I'm the hiring manager. So like, if you just want to stop by tomorrow, like we can chit chat a little bit, and then I can just get you to start filling out some, you know, paperwork, and we'll figure out when you can start. Like it's, I don't know how to explain it, because like this is just, I feel like this might just be how you are. Then again, this could be something new for you, but it kind of feels like this is just how you are. And that like you really get it now, right? That like you have known that you've been able to do this, and you've been trying it on like little stuff. But now you really get, like in the next 3 months, like over the course of the rest of this year, you really get it that like this is a thing that you can use, right? And it feels like you get it the same way as like when someone gets like their first like real adult job and they have a steady paycheck coming in, and it's like, I can just like use my debit card and like not worry about like if I have enough money, because I just do, because I have a job where they pay me every 2 weeks and I get paid really well. Like that's the kind of feeling where it's like, oh, like, okay, so I don't have to worry about if I use this wrong, it's going to go away, or I don't have to worry about like, is there enough of this? Like that scarcity is not there. So yeah, so you'll be, I don't want to say you'll be developing it over the rest of the year, but I think you'll be developing an understanding of like how you want to use it, right? Because like I said, it's something that like you kind of knew that you could do it, and you've been trying it on little things, but now it's like, okay, I'm really going to figure out like exactly how I want to use this, and I'm going to be really intentional about it, because it almost has the feeling like in the in like the Aladdin story where like the genie's like you get 3 wishes. It's like, I don't want to waste my wishes, even though it doesn't work like that. It's like you understand the value of it. You understand exactly how valuable this ability is now. And so that is driving you to be much more intentional about how you use it. Because you see how powerful you are and how significantly things can change if you're intentional about how you do this, how you use it. So I think that's awesome. The next, okay. So the next card I have for you is is a Wands card, which is action. And so the card that came up again is the Ace of Wands. And the card that came up with it is the Six of Wands. So Six of Wands is a card of success. Six of Wands is a card of victory. And so we've got this person here that's, doing their yoga in front of all these kind of smaller people that they're not smaller, but they're in like the background. And so there's like this kind of, well, no, they're smaller actually. There's kind of this like, maybe they're fighting. It's kind of hard to see. It's a little bit chaotic, but you're going to use this instant manifestation to bring about success in your life so that you can rise above like where you came from, what you're used to, the things, the little things that like you don't align with anymore. Yeah. That like whatever it is that you decide to manifest for yourself, like you will be very successful. And we all have a different idea of success. But like this will take you to what success is for you, right? And so it's almost like this, neither one of these is a happily ever after card, but to me, this is very much how it feels, that like you're starting to manifest like, okay, I'm trying to manifest my dream life. Like what is the ultimate, like that I can call in for myself right now? I want that. And it looks like this and this and this and this. It's not like these are very intentional things that you're manifesting. It's not like I want a happily ever after, and like, no, it's, that like I want to live my purpose and I want to feel fulfilled in the work that I do every day and go. I want divine partnership and I want my rest of my life relationship and go. I want to never worry about money again, but have all my bills paid and be able to help other people when they need it and go, and I want to be in my most optimal level of health and go. That to me, that's what this feels like. Yeah, you're manifesting your dream life. You're manifesting, like the Empress is a queen, like she's on a throne, right? But like you're trying to live that life, and I feel like this is different for everybody, right? Like everybody's dream life is different, but it's very much like the most evolved, highest version of yourself that you can be, right? Because like when we think about like a queen, like some people think about like the, what is it? I was going to say matriarchy. That's not it. Why can't I think of words? My brain's not working. I'm so sorry. Medieval times. It was close. There was an M. Some people think of like medieval times as far as like queens, and then other people think about like, yes, queen, like in this like modern version, which I feel like in the modern context of the word, it's like almost like this most high version of the feminine, right? That like, it kind of this elevated, like mature, kind of rising above all the bullshit, right? So that's what I think of for this queen. And then this last card is Pentacles, which is money and energy. And so the card that came up is the Knight of Coins. And so we have this knight and he's holding up this coin and he's really kind of just like showing showing us like, well, this is what I have, like, this is what I'm growing, this is what I'm doing. I think I said before, I've said in other readings that like the Knight of Pentacles is he's the farmer, in my opinion, like, you know, planning, intentional. And the supporting card that came up is the Ten of Wands. So typically Ten of Wands is like doing too much, but I feel like what is coming up here is that you are being very, very intentional about how you use your energy so that you are not doing too much. Like, you are manifesting a very intentional, calculated life so that you no longer have to hustle and push and live on someone else's timeline and like do all the things to pay the bills. Like, you're moving away from like the current work system that we're in, where it's like you have to hustle for a paycheck, and you're moving towards being very intentional about how you manifest this life so that you have more than enough. Because when we look at this coin, like, this is a big ass coin, right? Like, you're not like, you can't carry this in your pocket. Like, this is big money, right? This is not quarters and dimes. Like, you are very intentionally trying to manifest like big money so that you don't have to be in this rat race, right? Of the current system of work that we have. And I'm just looking at your cards like one more time. Especially with this like feed your creativity. And I feel like there's a lot of, we've got the, sorry, all over the place. We've got the orange sacral chakra, this orange carnelian. Carnelians are associated with sacral chakra. We've got the orange and the yellow here. Got the orange and the yellow here, and then we've got the wands, you know, which is associated with action. And even like looking at this card, this Ten of Wands, like, this person's bending over backwards versus this higher version that's kind of postured and relaxed, right? This is overdoing it. This is kind of being in like a higher mind. So group number 3, I think it could be beneficial for you to try to focus on like solar plexus, sacral chakra, whether that's affirmations, crystals, even like physical stuff, like kind of being aware of like what you're consuming, because I feel like sacral chakra, like, it's over the intestines, it's over like the womb space, but to me it feels like being very intentional about what you're ingesting, what you're consuming, right? And like, we don't just consume food, you know, the energies that you're around, like the conversations that you're around, like, are they feeding you? So yeah, so this is exciting. It's exciting. Lots of creativity, lots of new things. So group number 3, is it group number 3? Nope, group number 2. Group number 2, that has been your reading. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm very excited for you over the next 3 months starting to create this, not even starting to create, I feel like because you guys are such quick manifestors, like over the next 3 months, like, you are creating your dream life, and it's almost like you're just posturing yourself to like roll into it in 2024, which is amazing. So yeah, group number 2. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 3. So if you chose the Rhodochrosite, the message is remember your worth. Excuse me. I will be pulling, or I have pulled cards for you from the Transient Light Tarot. So I have pulled a card for like the vibe check, and then an oracle card for kind of the energy of this autumn season. I have also pulled cards for love and connection, mindset and communication, kind of physical action steps, and then money and energy. So the tarot card that I pulled for you is Queen of Cups. So, I like how she has like this little coy look on her face, like kind of over the shoulder, very demure. And then the oracle card that came up is transformation. So, sorry, I'm trying to get myself sorted out here. Transformation. So we have this butterfly card, and it's like made up of all these little circles and like kind of interesting like little shapes. So Queen of Cups is very much like this energy of like being very loving, very feminine, but also like very strong, but like not strong in that like you have to prove that you're strong, right? Like, I think there are people that just are strong people, right? Like they're not strong because they're like the loudest or the toughest or like, they don't have anything to prove. Like they just kind of have this inherent strength. It feels more like a fortitude, right? That like, nothing really knocks you down because you just kind of get right back up. Sometimes you pop back up. Other times it's, you know, like you kind of dust yourself off and like collect yourself and like slowly get back up and get back at it. But very, very strong, determined, right? Determined. But there's not like a lot of ego there. It's like determined and humble. And just you're doing the things that you need to be doing. You just take care of things because that's who you are. You take care of others because that's who you are. And with this transformation card, I feel like there have been a lot of like small changes that you've been through over the course of like probably years. And I feel like in the last part of this year, in this like, you know, in this season where things are kind of slowing down, like you're going to be able to not necessarily be more introspective, but like you're going to be able to reflect on, wow, these are all of these small ways that I've changed, all these small things that have changed in me and kind of affected the things around me. Like you're going to be able to really take stock of how big of a transformation that you have made so far, but your transformation is not done. So you're going to continue to go through a transformation the rest of this year. And I feel like for whatever reason, I'm getting like summer of 2024, like that's what's coming up. So the culmination of that transformation, like you might see it in the summer. Ben, please stop, buddy. This is not about you. This is about group number 3. Yeah, summer of 2024, July, is what's kind of coming up for me in my mind for you. No, thank you, buddy. That, like, there's gonna be, like, whatever you have been working towards, like, you will get there in the summer of 2024. And I feel like for some of you, like that might be buying a house. For some of you, that's going to be something that has to do with your health, like a really significant health goal. This could be like a graduation for some of you, but it's definitely like a culmination, right? That like all these little things that you've been doing, all this work that you've been doing, like the focus that you've been keeping on meeting that goal, like it's gonna come to fruition, it's gonna come to completion, it's gonna culminate in like June, July of 2024. So yeah, I feel like just keep on trucking. Just keep plugging along in this next quarter, in this last quarter, this next 3 months of the year. So the Cups card that I have for you that has to do with the love and connection is the 9 of Cups, which is a really lovely card it's the card of wish fulfillment. It's this card of satisfaction. We can see this on her face. Like she's just really content. Like she feels good. Things are good. There's a lot of abundance around her. Like, Like the way she's kind of leaned on this table and she's got her hip cocked out to the side, and like the just a little smug look on her face, like this was a good party. Like this was really good. Like this was lovely. This was nice. So like just having this kind of feeling of satisfaction about things. And so the supporting card that came out is this Crown of Vessels card. So this is, I believe this is the Queen of Cups. Like this is one of those decks that doesn't use like King and Queen. And I think even like the Page and the Knight, they have some other whatever. But I believe this is the Queen of Cups. So again, that Queen of Cups energy is coming out. And I feel like this is really you, right? That like all the work that you have been doing, all the time and energy that you've invested in yourself, like you're really in these next 3 months, like because I feel like the last part of each year is kind of a time for celebration, right? Where we have a lot of holidays and like kind of we go into as a country, like if you're in America, we kind of go into this time of like slowing down and celebrating, and like we eat a little bit more and we drink a little bit more and we laugh a little bit more and we, are more social and we spend time more with the people that we love and care about. And just getting to really enjoy and kind of luxuriate in those things. And I feel like this feeling of satisfaction and contentment and like, it just feels really good, and it definitely fills up your heart. That your heart is like one of these cups, one of these vessels. And like, this is just, I feel like these next 3 months for you are just going to be this time of just feeling really good. Like whether you're with people or whether you're by yourself or whether you're at work or whether you're like getting groceries, like whatever the things are that you need to do that you're doing, like this feeling of like satisfaction, this feeling of this feels good. Like that's going to be coming up a lot for you. Which, like, who doesn't want that? Like, that is lovely, especially when you realize that it's all because of the things that you've been doing, like the time and energy you've been investing in yourself and into your environment and those around you. So the next card is about mindset and communication. And so the Swords card that came up for you is the King of Swords. So this card can represent someone. Sometimes it's a mindset card, but this kind of feels like, even though this is not about love, this kind of feels like somebody's got their eye on you. Because like when you look at him, he's kind of postured where he's like looking out, but his eyes are down. So like, I'm checking things out, but I don't really want people to know exactly what I'm looking at. And King of Swords is, he's calculated. And I feel like the word calculated kind of gets a bad rap. Like there's this negative connotation to it, but deliberate. Maybe that's a better word to use. Like he's very deliberate about what he does, about where he spends his time and energy and who he connects with. So there is someone that has their eye on you, and it's a masculine energy, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a man. Women can have masculine. I feel like I have more masculine than feminine energy. But like this person that, and they might not come across as masculine, like they're confident, they're self-assured, they're comfortable with themselves. Like they could take a joke. Like people can make jokes at their expense and it doesn't bother them because they know who they are. And even negative interactions, like if people treat them really negatively, like to them, that's not a reflection of who they are. That's a reflection of the person that's interacting with them. And so this person has their eye on you, and this is not very romantic, but they're gathering evidence. They're gathering evidence because there's a feeling about you, but being the King of Swords, like the mind rules the heart. And so I I'm saying that because this 10 of Coins. 10 of Coins is a happily ever after card. It's a partnership. It's a marriage card for this. So you might be dating this person already and they kind of seem aloof, or like they don't seem like they're super serious or committed, but they're trying to figure out like, is group number 3 going to be a good partner to me? And I feel like sometimes people that really live in their head, they have a hard time reconciling the messages of the heart, right? Because the heart says, yes, group number 3 is it. So if you are in partnership with someone already, like this person is considering whether they like want to marry you or not. And so, and it doesn't seem like that to you. Like you are not picking that up, because the heart is saying yes, but this King of Swords is a little bit freaked out because his heart usually is not louder than his head. And so he's like, head, mind, give me evidence. And the mind is saying like, yeah, my heart's spot on. And he's like, but no, I need the evidence. Like, we don't let the heart decide. So he's having like this, they are having like this internal conflict of like, but wait, what do you mean yes? Like, what do you mean that my knowing is correct? Like, so it's kind of, they're kind of weirding themselves out, which is kind of funny. If you are single, then there is someone that has their eye on you because they are feeling drawn to you. They would like to have something long term with you. And they're having that same conflict that like their mind is like, but group number 3, if you're single, this person feels like they're kind of doubting themselves. You know, that like group number 3 probably is not interested in me. And like group number 3 probably like they have ambitions and goals and like they're very like they have very high standards. And like group number 3 is like, you know, like they're very desirable. Queen of Cups is very desirable, typically, you know, physically beautiful. I would say enchanting. Like you've got this enchanting characteristic about you. Charming, charismatic. And so you're very good with people. You're very, very good with people. And sometimes people confuse your charisma for interest. So that could be some of the issue for this King of Swords, that like, well, I don't think the Queen of Cups, I don't think that group number 3 is interested in me because, you know, they're just charming in general. Like they're not trying to charm me, they just are charming. And so because Queen of Cups is intuitive, if you have an idea of who this King of Swords is and you are interested in considering something long-term with them, then you're gonna have to do more than drop a hint, right? Like you're either going to have to dial up the charisma just with them, or you're gonna have to dial back the charisma with everybody else so that it's more obvious to this King of Swords that you are interested in them. So that is fun. I like that, but I love because I'm a Cancer sun. The next card is for Wands, which is like physical action. And so we have this 4 of Wands card. The 4 of Wands card is obviously, it's a card of celebration, but this card is typically about like marriage, stable foundations. Like it's a committed partnership card. So the other card that came out with it is the 10 of Swords. So what this tells me potentially for some of you is that you might be ending a relationship that you're currently in. And so to me, what this feels like is some of you might be going through a divorce, and this King of Swords might know that, or they might not know that. And so that could be the reason that they're a little hesitant, right? Because like King of Swords is very deliberate. He's not going to start a relationship with someone that is currently in a relationship. but for some reason, and he's highly intuitive too, for some reason he might either know that you are ending your current relationship, or he might just have a feeling, and so he's kind of trying to flesh that out. So yeah, this feels like divorce, or like ending a long-term relationship, or like this, because 10 of Wands is ending a cycle. So you might be at a point where you're like, you know, I'm done with like this stupid superficial dating game. I'm done hooking up. I'm done with like people that don't have any intention around like what they want in relationships, because I am ready for a solid, committed partnership. And so, you know, we talked about the transformation card, right? That you know, that you have been and you are continuing to make all these small changes in your life that are leading to big transformations. And so if this intention is something that you put out there, you know, because Queen of Cups, she rules the heart, she rules love. If your intention is to call in a strong, stable, committed partnership, then you know, you're like, this is just confirmation that like you're ending whatever cycle you're in that was preventing this from coming in for you. And so that might be who, you know, that might be what this King of Swords long-term commitment thing is that's coming in. And so I would encourage you, just like this King of Swords is very deliberate and intentional, I would encourage you to obviously like always enjoy yourself, like make sure that you're enjoying whatever things you're doing, however you're investing your energy, but also to take a long look at him, right? Because they're both, you know, they're both kind of gazing, you know, like it kind of like he's gazing at you, like King of Swords is gazing at you, you know, and like I said in the beginning, like this is very kind of coy, over the shoulder look. So like it's easy for you to entice, you know, this King of Swords, but, you know, make sure that even if you're not looking at him, that you're paying attention to this King of Swords. Does this King of Swords, like does he embody the qualities that you're interested in? You know, is this someone that you feel like is worth your time and energy to consider spending time with, to figure out if you want to have a long-term relationship with them, if you want to commit the time and energy with them? And also, you know, because of this Swords energy, making sure that like you're communicating, making sure that you're communicating what it is that you want, what it is that you really want, right? Instead of, because like looking at these swords, like every single one of them is broken. So to me, like what that feels like is any old habits that you had that were not serving you in that previous cycle of like not great dating. I know all these aren't about love, but I feel like your reading is a love reading, which, I mean, if you are not familiar with rhodochrosite, like rhodochrosite is the stone that the crystal that you use to call in like true love partnership. So makes sense. I mean, it does talk about your worth, but like if you look at rhodochrosite, it's like if you're really ready to do like the deep, like self-love, self-healing, to call in like deep loving partnership. So with all these swords being broken, like you're being called to like let go of all those like broken habits, like I'm just gonna say it, in this next partnership, you have to speak up for yourself, because speak up for yourself and ask questions, because in the past you haven't, you know, and I think like we're not conditioned to be direct communicators. We're not conditioned to feel comfortable asking for what we need, and we're not taught how to figure out what we need. Like we're taught that like other people should just intuitively know what we need if they love us enough. And like, that's really not fair, because and that's really kind of a recipe for disaster, because honestly, like, if we don't know what we need, how is somebody else going to intuitively know? How is somebody going to intuit what we don't know for ourselves? It doesn't make sense when you actually think about it. So in this next relationship that you come into, you have to speak up for you, for your needs. You have to speak up for yourself. You need to ask those hard questions, because like, you're doing all this big work in other areas. Like, why would you not do that in your connections and relationships with other people, right? And then the last card that I have for you is the Pentacles card, which is just time, energy, money. Y'all. So the card that came up is the Queen of Pentacles. So you got 2 Queen of Cups, and then a King of Swords and a Queen of Pentacles, right? So you are Queen of Pentacles is just a very nurturing energy. Like, I feel like Queen of Pentacles is kind of the Mother Nature a kind of energy, right? That Queen of Pentacles can create and grow anything out of nothing. And so we have her sitting here on her throne. She's got her coin, a little bit stoic, you know. So to me, what this feels like is you have no problem getting down to business, right? That like when it comes to like money, time, energy, or career, like, you're very intentional, very focused. You're ambitious, like, you have things that you want to do, and that's and you have places that you want to go. And the supporting card that came up is the Lovers. So you are looking for a partner to match you. And so the this a king and a queen are a very good match, but so there is the opportunity for a love relationship to happen, but you know, not every king and queen are a great pairing. And so I say that because there's this queen that's earth energy and this king that's air energy. Air energy moves very quickly. Earth energy moves very slowly in the tarot. You did have the 2 Queen of Cups. Earth and water work very well together, but that's you, right? Water and air. I'm not saying that this can't work, but it is very important for you to decide if this King of Swords is the best match for you, because I am all for you enjoying yourself, and you have lots of areas in your life to indulge in enjoyment, whether that's like connecting with people, like enjoying really good food. Like, there's all these opportunities for you to just kind of relax and luxuriate and enjoy. What I don't want is for you to be so focused on love and partnership and like creating something long-term, happily ever after, that you don't do your due diligence of figuring out if this King of Swords is the best match for you, and what you want to do, where you want to go, the life that you want to create for yourself. Because part of that transformation is changing our habits, right? So we can do a lot of work internally by ourselves, because we've got like all these Queen cards and then this 9 of Cups. These are all solitary cards until we get to this, 4 of Wands. This Queen, like, these are all solitary cards. So we can do the work and we can make a lot of growth by ourselves, but we can only do so much alone, right? So when we call in partnership, like we have to understand that like there are different growth opportunities there. There's different lessons that are going to come up in relationship that won't come up when we're by ourselves, right? Because typically we don't trigger ourselves the way that other people do. And the closer that we get to people, the more we let them in our bubble, the more they get to see us be vulnerable, that can trigger some things. And so I say that because there are important conversations that need to happen to figure out if this King of Swords is the best partner potentially for you as this like Queen of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. You know, because let's say the King of Swords is like, hey, I really want to get married and have kids, and I would love for my wife to stay at home. Well, Queen of Pentacles, like she's got things to do. Like she's got a career to create. She's got money to earn. She's got things to grow and develop. She's got people to grow and develop. And that might not include babies. So that has to be like a real, so like when I talk about like needing to have those conversations, like needing to have those hard conversations, this isn't just things about like what are your hobbies and like what's your exercise routine and like are you vegan? Like these aren't just questions about like what's your credit score. These aren't questions about like what's your 5-year plan, right? Like these are in the context of us, like in a relationship that we could grow together. What does this look like? What does that look like? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Because when we look at her, she's very serious. Like she's not fucking around. Because the feeling I get is that you have had a lot of relationships where at the end of them you feel like that was a whole lot of fucking around and a waste of my time. And this Queen of Cups transformation, like you don't get to transformation, you don't get to self-satisfaction, you don't get to a life of enjoyment from like fucking around, right? Like this transformation and change that happens, like this is all like very, very intentional. So group number 3, that has been your reading for the next 3 months. So I feel like it's very intriguing. Because like I love that your transformation is going to continue, and I think it's very interesting and positive that like part of this growth, that's this transformation that's happening, is kind of moving into this relationship sector. So or possibly moving into kind of relationship stuff. So yeah, group number 3. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I hope you have a lovely next 3 months as well as a lovely 2024. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 4. So if you chose the Unakite card, the message is live in the now. So I have pulled cards for you from the Osho Zen Tarot, as well as the Mucha Tarot. I pulled a card for your kind of vibe check, your energy, as well as an oracle card for the energy of the month. And then I pulled tarot cards around love and connection, mindset and communication, physical, like action steps, and then money and energy. So let's see what tarot card has come up for you. So the card that came up is the Devil. So this is one of those cards that is not most people's favorite. This card is associated with Capricorn. So if you are a Capricorn, if you have any like significant Capricorn placements, that might be what this signifies. The Devil can also be a message around breaking free from like bad habits, like limiting habits, like limiting mindset, like breaking free from something that's like holding you down or oppressing you. This can be like work, relationships, like friendships. It can be addictions. This can be negative self-talk. This can also be settling, right? Like the saying goes, like the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't, but it's like a devil is a devil either way. And, you know, when we look at these two people, like these people are trapped, right? They're enslaved, they're chained up, they're stuck, kind of doing the bidding of this kind of devil figure. The oracle card that came up is financial health. So to me, what this kind of looks like is possibly over the last 3 months of this year, you might be invited to look at your spending. Like, are you overspending? Are you not keeping track of what you're spending things on? Are you spending frivolously? Are you giving away your time, money, and energy? Because the things that are given to us, that are granted to us, if we do not understand what our value is, we can also misunderstand the value of what's coming to us, and we can give it away to those people that it's not meant for. Or this kind of feels like a little bit of like peer pressure energy, right? Where I don't know why it makes me think of high school, where there's like kids that have money and then kids that are always trying to get the kids with money to like spend money on things for everybody. Like it kind of feels like this immature energy, like manipulative energy. So if this sounds like your situation, or if this kind of resonates for you, then this is your reading. So the first two cards I have for you are around love and connection. So you got 2 cups cards, which is really beautiful. So the love and connection card that came up for you is the Ace of Wands. So there's an opportunity for a new love relationship to come in. The supporting card is this friendliness card, which is the Two of Cups. So this new relationship that is coming in is it's a really positive, healthy, balanced, well reciprocated energy. Like this feels like two people coming together and like just really having this really natural kind of merging, blending happening. Like when we look at this card, like the yellow and the pink coming together makes this orange. These trees are very close to each other. Like they just kind of mesh really well. And so I feel like this is really positive. This is really beautiful. And I'm curious if some of you are moving out of a relationship with someone that is not good for you, that you know is not good for you, but you kind of struggle to like let go of them, right? Like even almost feeling like this devil that you knew for so long, that you were with for so long, like maybe your mind's telling you they're the one that got away, but you are the one that got away. And so like over the next 3 months, like what is happening is like this new love is coming in, I think, because you are ready to break free from these chains, right? The thing with some other depictions of the devil card is a lot of times like they will have kind of shackles or chains around their necks, but it's like really loose. And so like in the traditional tarot depiction, like the people, like they could take the chains from over their heads, but they don't. And so it's this belief that like this devil has more power than you do, which is never true, right? The devil is a liar. And that's the only way that the devil stays in power, is to kind of squash you down, or like tell you things that are not true, or manipulate you to try to make you believe that you don't have the power, you don't have the authority or the ability to control your own life, which you always do. It's your life. But for this love reading, this new love that's coming in. It's just a really beautiful, positive partnership. If you're not interested in romantic love, this can be a friendship, like where this is like besties, you know, like just really best friends. And like this person that's coming in, like they are really good at taking care of themselves, whether this is friendship or love relationships. This person's really good at taking care of themselves. They're a really great example for you to learn self-care and self-love, because this cup is overflowing, right? It's just spilling out on all four sides. And so this person, they don't have any problem like giving to others, but they also understand that it is not their responsibility and it is not their purpose to fill everyone else's cup. Like they are overflowing because they have done the work to make sure that their cup is overflowing. And so I feel like this merging of like these two trees together, like if this is not a romantic relationship for you, this could be like that really positive friendship that like helps you make a change that like you didn't really know how to make for yourself, right? That like, and it might even be that like I didn't know that this is what I wanted or needed, and I'm so glad that like you came into my life, because you know, like this friendship has been really rich, or it's been really nurturing, or like I have learned so much and it hasn't felt like learning. It hasn't felt like someone's talking down to me or like telling me what I need to do or like what I've done wrong or anything like that. It's like being really gently kind of guided, but not even guided. It feels like when it's like when you're standing there talking to someone and they just kind of start walking and they start really slowly. And like you can tell that they are walking someplace, but they don't end the conversation. So it's almost like they're continuing the conversation while they're physically, you know, moving both of you along to wherever maybe they need to be. And they're not saying like, hey, walk with me so I can go someplace. You know, they might just be talking and kind of like move their head a little bit. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, we're going over here. Like that's how it feels, where it's like a very natural, intuitive, like easy energy. So I really love that. The next card that I have for you is the Swords. And so this very much matches with that, the feeling I got from the Devil energy. So this is the Six of Swords, and this is a card of moving on. And so Six of Swords is moving away from something. You know, it's not necessarily like I think I'm just going to take a trip and go somewhere. No, this is like I'm packing my stuff and I have set up a place for me to go. And now I am traveling to this place. Like there's a lot of intention behind it. And so it feels like some of you, it feels like you're moving out. That you have been in a relationship where like you shared a home with someone or an apartment. Maybe you and your partner were like roommates with someone else. And like, it feels like this person took advantage of you. That's where this financial health is, that like maybe they had a job when you guys first moved in together, and then somehow they didn't lose their job, but they stopped working, and they said they were going to get another job, but they just haven't, but also like they're not really actively looking. And so it's like over the course of time, like you've gotten the impression that like, okay, I see that like I'm the meal ticket, and that you really never had any intentions of sorry. I just recently learned about this. Hobosexuals, like which the thing that I read about it was homosexuals are men that will couple up with women so that they have a place to stay in the winter time. So you may have been with a hobosexual, which I can't believe I'm actually using that in the context of any conversation in real life. But as I was saying, like you have over the next 3 months, like you are creating a plan for yourself to move away from something, from someone, from a relationship, and you're moving away intentionally from something that is not good for you, that you know is not good for you. It's probably caused you a lot of pain, a lot of stress, and you're done, but you haven't. It's not that you haven't said it. Like, that's not really your style. Like, you're not the kind of person to be like, screw you, I'm done. Like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool, I'm out. Like, that's not your style. So you know that you're done. This other person has no idea. And I feel like you might just kind of like disappear, right? That like you have all these plans for like moving out and you have a new place, and like you're not really telling anyone. You're not even really telling your family. Like, I think there might be like a close friend, or maybe like, I feel like maybe your dad, right? Like, you have a very small circle of people that know that you are leaving or moving, and they're the ones that are like helping you, but everybody else, like, they'll find out when they find out, you know? And I don't blame you. Sometimes you got to move in silence. And so that leads me to this card, which is the supporting card. This is the silence card, which is giving me like very much like moon card energy. This is full moon. There's a full moon right now. So there might be something that's happening in the early part of the month that is kind of a breaking point for you. Maybe the end of September that's been like a breaking point for you. We have eclipse season coming in the middle of October. And so eclipses bring like big change. It's not always like earthquake, lightning bolt kind of change. Like, sometimes it can just be like really deep internal transformation change that happens, that like we know, maybe not everybody outside of us knows, but like we know that some big shifts have happened, and that might be what sparks you to take action. But I feel like you're really kind of going inward, like really thinking about, you're putting the pieces together. You're putting the pieces together, because I don't think that you saw this person for who they were until recently. Like, I feel like maybe recently you started to kind of get this sense that like, I don't think that you're who I thought you were. And that's on purpose. Like, that's not you. Like, you didn't miss anything. Like, the devil is a liar, right? So like, this person has been hiding, concealing, because like if somebody showed up in front of you like this, all bred and naked with a mouth and a tongue coming out of their stomach, like, you would no, what is this? That's weird. No, thank you. Like, if this showed up like this, no way, no. So this has to conceal itself. It has to blend in. It has to put on a show, put on a mask, put on an act. And everybody's truth comes out over time. And I think what you might have seen or will be seeing over the next 3 months is that like the true nature of this person. But I feel like you've already kind of seen it. And like, this introspection, it might just be you kind of processing how, like, how did I miss this? Or like, how did I let this happen? And like I said, like, this isn't about you, right? This is about them. And because you've seen it, you can't keep your eyes closed anymore, and you have to take action, and you have to move on, and so the good thing is that like there's two people here, right? So you have support, like you have someone that's coming in to help you kind of move yourself and your belongings and your ship onto the next thing. And I just want to point out, like, this area that they're moving to, it's much brighter, it's lighter. You're moving towards positive change in the next 3 months. So the next card that I have for you is the Wands, which is like physical, action. And so the card that came up is the Six of Wands. And so this card is a card of success. So we see this knight, and he's got his head held high, and, he feels really positive. So like, you And I love that, like, you got Six of Swords and Six of Wands, the six energy. In numerology, six is about, like, human love, like not spiritual love, not necessarily unconditional love, but very much about, like, love in this tricky kind of experience of being a human being, right? That, like, we've all got egos and flaws and insecurities, and sometimes it's kind of hard. But I love that, like, you had this Six of Wands, this leaving, that's followed by the the Six of Swords that signifies intentional leaving, followed by the Six of Wands, which is success. So, like, you choosing to leave the devil behind is going to lead you to, like, success and victory in really all parts of your life. That, like, it's going to even when we look at this energy, right, like, the colors are so different. Like, this is very, like, cool tones on the journey, and then, like, almost like when we cross over that bridge, we cross over the water, we get into the space of really warm tones and, like, just positive energy, warmth, and, like, it just, to me, it just feels really good. The next card that came up, or the supporting card that came up, is the Seven of Cups. And so this card is projections. And so when you get to that place of success, like, you're going to go from eyes being closed to eyes being very open. That, like, whatever lesson, or it feels like a journey. It feels like a growth journey that you had to go through with this devil. Like, what you are coming out of that situation having gained is this clarity about people. And so, and it's really like it's one part intuition, and it's another part learning human behavior and being able to see these really nuanced things about the way that people behave and present themselves. And, like, it's almost like you got some kind of download or code or something where you can decipher some of these things that people do say, the way that they behave. And it's like a knowing now, right? So, like, you can interact with people, you know, and, like, you can seem to have a perfectly normal interaction, but you're able to see these projections that are coming out. So, like, these images, like, this is their true selves. These are the masks that they wear. This is the true energy that's coming out, right? So we can see, like, she's very stoic, but this energy is, like, pleasant, and, like, he seems pleasant, but the energy looks a little bit, like, sinister or aggressive. So when this experience, it opened up your intuition, and it cracked something open in your knowingness. And so it's like, it feels like those, like, movies or TV shows where, like, somebody falls down and they hit their head and then they come out of, you know, like, a coma, and they're psychic. Like, it kind of feels like that, where it's like, whatever experience you had in this relationship, like, as you go through your healing, like, you have this intuitive knowing about human beings now, and about behavior, and, like, how to see and decipher things. And so it's like you see people's truth. And, like, this situation, like, you will never have a relationship with anyone like this ever again. Like, you know how to see these people, like, you know how to see them coming. And this is a one and done lesson for you. Not to say that you won't ever deal with these people, but you will see them, and you won't allow them to be close to you. You won't allow them access to you like you did before when you didn't know. So that is your kind of action, physical, like, kind of real world, tangible action. And then the last card is Pentacles. And so the tarot card that came up, or the Mucha tarot that came up, is this Two of Pentacles. So this is kind of a weighing energy, like almost like balancing the scales, like considering, like, this or that, or how do I do this and how do I do that. And it's just a very even though it's an earth card, like there's a lot of like mental energy to it, where it's like considerations and rebalancing and reconsidering. And the card that came up is letting go, right? So this is Eight of Cups, and this is that kind of walking away. And I feel like there are things, it might be beliefs, it might be a mindset that you're really reevaluating to let go of it, because I feel like this financial health card, like there's something about your beliefs around money or value or worth, and that is what opened the door for this devil to come in. And over the course of these next 3 months, like you're realizing and understanding, like you're gonna be in a very like reflective place, right, with this kind of like this moon card, this silence, this eyes closed reflection. Like you're gonna be able to reflect on how this, not just how this happened, but like all the things that led up to this, the door being open for this to come in. You're going to be reflecting on those things. And so those beliefs, mindsets, it feels like gaps, opportunities for threats to come in even. Like, which sounds really kind of ominous, but I feel like there's like a very calculated way that you're looking at this. It's almost like running down, like it's almost like looking at a spreadsheet in a way, or like a grid or something. And like those things that you identify as like the gaps or the flaws or like the opportunities where you were left wide open, like you will be cutting those things out. Like you will be changing those things. And part of this even feels like, this is very specific, so this might not apply to everybody. This person may have been someone that you were set up with by a friend. And so it feels like you will be letting that friend go because they knew who this person really was and they still set you up. So like, that's not really a friend, right? It's not really a friend. And you didn't know. But yeah, I feel like there's, like you're doing this rebalancing and then there's things that you really have to cut out and let go. And all of that is, like, I feel like this is a little bit out of order for the way that I read it, but all of that is making way for you to have this Ace of Cups person come in and for you to have this really deep, healthy, balanced, loving relationship. And that can be, like I said, like if you're not ready for a romantic relationship, like that can be a friendship, that can be like even a really healthy like work relationship or like a business partnership of some kind. But like because you're walking away, from that devil, you're taking the time to reflect and be introspective. You are also like reevaluating and looking at the things that happened so that you can cut things out and let them go. It's going to lead you to have this success in all areas of your life. And also like you'll be able to see like people's behaviors in a way that you couldn't see before. And that is why this really healthy relationship is going to come in, because you're going to have people you're going to have other interests, like you're going to have other people that are interested in having a relationship with you, and it's not going to work because you're going to see their unhealthy stuff that they try to hide. Right. So like I said, like it's not that you're never going to run into a devil again. Like they're everywhere. And the audacity, like nothing to offer, everything to take, and like shoot your shot. Like I'm going to go for it. Like this person is way out of my league and I have nothing to offer. But, if they're dumb enough to let me take advantage of them, I mean, why shouldn't I? Right. Like that's the devil energy. Hobosexual. But like, so you're gonna have these people approach you, whether it's like online, in person, at the grocery store, like you're going to have a lot of these and you're going to see them very quickly, right? Like, it might be like after a conversation or two, you know, like they are very easy to weed out for you now. And also like when you have this really positive, healthy person come in, that's really easy for you to see as well, where it's like, oh, okay, like this is who I should invest in. And like this person like really has things to offer me and teach me in a way that like other people can't. And I'm ready to receive those things, you know, and this person's really ready to partner and like blend with someone, which is like, you know, if you've been dealing with like unhealthy relationships for a long time, like it's really refreshing to be able to have that, to have someone that is comfortable sharing their intention with you and like what they want. And I feel like that's really going to allow you to like live in the now, right? To just enjoy what it's like to be and just to exist like in this connection with this person, which I feel like is really lovely. So that group number 4 is the next 3, but what's coming for you, what's growing for you in the next 3 months of this year as we round out 2023. So I hope that you enjoyed your reading, and I just want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello. So here we are, the end of the last 3 months of 2023. I was gonna say the end of 2023, but no, it's September 29th today, I think. What is time? So yeah, this is my reading. So I will be going through the same format that I did your readings in. I just picked a different deck. So I have used the same crystal card and then the same like vibe check and energy of the month oracle, as well as the same, cups, swords, wands, and pentacles card from the Tarot Mucha. And then I pulled cards for myself from the After Tarot. Where's my finger? There it is. From the After Tarot. So the crystal card that I pulled for myself is Labradorite, which is the messages see the magic, which I love because I feel like we need more magic in our lives because being a grown-up is boring most of the time. So, and I also really love Labradorite because it's really pretty and it changes colors and it's just pretty. I just like it. So I haven't looked at these cards yet, so this is just as much a surprise for me as it is for you. So the tarot card that I pulled for myself is the Moon, which is very interesting. The Moon is actually there's a full moon in Aries right now. So this is a very kind of appropriate card for the current astrology. The moon really has to do with like our subconscious. The full moon illuminates the things that we don't normally see, but when it is illuminated, like when the dark is illuminated by the full moon, it just looks a little bit different, right? So there's like a different tone to it. Just like, I feel like just like the world is like during, what is it, like the golden hour, you know, like when the light's really good around sunset. And I feel like being able to see things in kind of different shades of, it's like kind of like black, gray, dark blue. Those are the colors that like kind of come to mind when I think of like the full moon illuminating something. Being able to see things like in those different tones kind of gives us a different perspective. And I think it also has a way of kind of calling us to like pause, right? Because like it's hard to see in the dark, it's hard to focus. And so sometimes things don't look the way that we think they are. And other times, you know, like the full moon can illuminate things for us that like we just kind of weren't aware of. So I do I like this for me. Also, I'm a Cancer sun, so the moon is very much, I feel like that kind of change in energy, change in emotion, like constant kind of changing in waves is very much how I feel a lot of the time, especially this week. Like, I feel like this week was like trying to hold on to the outside of a rocket ship while it's launching into outer space. It was chaotic and like, what is happening? And like, why am I doing this? And like, why can't I let go? I'm too far from the ground. Like, I can't like panic. I don't know what's happening. And then the oracle card that I pulled for myself is freedom. And I feel like I was talking to, I feel like this is a big share, but I'm just going to share it. So I was talking to my girlfriend and I was like, I just miss like the freedom of being able to just go for a hike like at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday, 10 o'clock in the morning, not 10 o'clock at night, way too dark to go hiking. Nobody has any business hiking in the dark. That's how you get hurt or kidnapped by bears or a family of squirrels. But, I was just having a really hard week. So I was like, I just need some support. Like, I don't know what to do. And so, she's just the sweetest. So like, she just kind of let me talk about it. And then she was really supportive, but like the freedom thing is like that's been a big thing that I feel is missing. And I think that it's something that like my subconscious, which is what this lobster in the water kind of represents in this tarot card, my subconscious has kind of been I feel like our subconscious and our spirit, like they're not the same thing. Like for me, my subconscious is like, there's a little bit of like ego in there. So like it doesn't communicate well. I just have feelings of like stuckness, irritability. Like I describe it as like the tight sweater feeling. So like if you, I've probably used this analogy like in other readings, but like if you've ever worn a sweater with like a shirt underneath and like the sweater's just too tight, like it just feels uncomfortable. It feels like the fabric under the sweater gets bunched up, or like, oh man, cut it out, buddy. Or like just it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. But you know, in the world that we live in, you can't just take your shirt off or your shirts and your sweater, and you know what I mean? Like we can't just like break free of it, because like we're in the middle of doing things, like maybe you're in a meeting at work or like driving, right? You can't just like stop in the middle of traffic. And so it's like that kind of stuck, uncomfortable, like frustrated feeling. So I've had little bits of that, I feel like, coming up for a while. And I think this week it kind of came to the forefront, came to my conscious part of my brain that was like, I just want to go hiking. Like I just want to go walk in the woods like a little forest goblin and not have to do work and have a job. So yeah. So we'll see how that kind of comes into play with the rest of the reading, but I feel like that's really spot on for me. And here's been to try to demand attention, just making a little cameo. Can I help you with something, sir? Can I assist you? All right. Okay, so we will continue with the reading. So I will pull my two cards for the Cups, the love reading. So the first card that I have is the Four of Cups, which this card is about, sometimes it can be about like a lack of satisfaction. But I feel like this depiction of it, it's almost like a wishing, it's a wishing card, but I feel like she's not as much dissatisfied as she is like waiting, right? So I feel like there's these three cards, or these three cups here, and she's got her eyes closed, you know, and she's kind of just leaning on this tree, and the universe is like, I'm bringing you something, hold on. And so for whatever reason, to me, this feels like, even though these are love cards, it feels like career and purpose. A little bit, I think maybe because that's like how I'm feeling about like work and career right now. But the other card that came up is the Knight of Cups. So I think in the first reading that I did for myself that I shared with you guys, I had talked about like new love coming in. And so this is, I feel like to me, this card is my girlfriend. Like this, this card is her. Like this is her energy. And so I think it's interesting. Like maybe she's bringing something in. Like maybe this is, because I really feel like there, like the thing that came to my brain was like divine counterpart. So like there's very much like this divine counterpart energy. And I feel like this is definitely reflective of like how like kind of having these cups that are like empty and like they're not great and like I'm just gonna kind of take a break and like not really worry about dating and like maybe just try to like make friends with people. Like I feel like that was very much the energy that I had been in for a long time. And then along comes my sweetheart. Just like, hey, do you want to be friends? And then it turned into more than friends and it's been lovely. So but now I am really curious, like if there, maybe she's planning something. Like maybe she's got something planned for like later in the year, you know? So that's, I feel like that's really like, that's fun and exciting and like something really nice to look forward to. So obviously I'm happy about that. So next we have swords. So this card is, I got confused because I have one swords card and I have one cups card. And so for the after tarot, I just pulled from the deck. Like for these tarot Mucha cards, I pulled all the suits out. And so it made sure that every deck had one of the corresponding suits. So that's why I confused myself. Because I was like, wait, why did I get a cups card with the swords cards? It's been a long week. Rocket ship analogy. Refer back to that. So for mindset, swords cards are like mindset, communication, thoughts, kind of mental energy. So the card that I pulled is this 10 of swords. So it says it's a little gnarly. We got one guy. I was gonna say we got one guy murdering another guy, but I think this guy's been down and out for a while. So like, as I'm saying that, like, I'm wondering if he's pulling these swords out of this person, right? If he's trying to, like, he's not going to save him, right? This guy's not, he's gone. But I'm like the energy, like it's making me think of the fact that like he's pulling the swords out because he's trying to recover the body, right? Like he's trying to return this person back to maybe their home or back to another state. Of, I don't know why I said state of being is what came to mind. And so it kind of feels like, this is really weird. I feel like this is me. Like these are both me, that like I'm trying to like return myself to a state that I have been in before. Hey Ben, I need you to move, buddy. I feel like I was telling my girlfriend this, that I feel like I don't know what happened, right? Where it was like, I feel like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, like even before that, maybe for like the last month, really, before this past weekend, like I had felt really like great. Like things were, like we had been talking for a while and like things were going really good and like work was going good and like I started school and like just all these areas of my life were like, oh my gosh, like all these things are coming together. And then something happened, like, I don't know if it was like Sunday or Monday, but it feels like I turned a corner and I just like ran right into a brick wall. And it kind of like in my mind, what it looks like is like, I was watching the Liberty Suns semifinals game, and one of the Suns players, like she was just standing up, like she was just kind of posted up, and one of the Liberty players is a little bit shorter, and she like turned really quick and just like ran right into this woman's shoulder. I was like, she fell down, and it was kind of comical because like nothing was really happening. Like they weren't in the middle of like gameplay. But like that's how I felt. Like I feel like I just kind of came around a corner and like ran face first into like a wall. And like the rest of the week has just been like chaos. So I feel like this definitely feels like how I feel right now. So thinking about like the next 3 months and kind of thinking about like how I know that I have to do some rebalancing. Like I know that there's things that I have to, there's things I have to get rid of, right? And a lot of those things are mindset where I am one of those people for a long time. Like I've made myself responsible for things that I'm not responsible for. That like, I think that I was kind of taught that because I'm a responsible person, then I just have to be responsible because not everybody is. So like I just have to do extra. Like you just have to do it because other people can't do it. And it's a really shitty thing to teach people that, you know? I mean, I think that like my parents, like they had the best intentions, but also that's how people get taken advantage of. And it happens especially like in the workplace, and I think in romantic relationships too. That like, you know, I think we see it like everywhere where you see like these imbalanced relationships where people get together not because they want a partnership, but because they want what somebody else has to offer, right? That like, oh, like you make a lot of money and I don't like to work. So if we get married, then I can just stay at home and you can make all the money. And like, and really I feel like that's kind of been like the way that marriages worked for like a really long time. Granted, women couldn't open bank accounts by themselves until 1976, but still, like, so I feel like that's kind of one of those swords that I'm like pulling out and letting go. Like, no, I don't have to be responsible for fixing other people's problems, especially when the people that made those problems are still here. So like, clean up your own mess. Like, I'm not a mom for a reason. So I think that there's going to be a lot of like mindset, like belief, limiting belief stuff that I'll be working on for the next 3 months. And it probably things that I'll be working on releasing like during this full moon cycle. But the other card that came up is this 3 of Cups, which is a card of celebration. So, coming into like the last 3 months of the year, right? This is kind of, we have Halloween coming, which is always really fun. And then Thanksgiving. So I am taking a trip to meet a friend in Vegas for Thanksgiving. So excited because I haven't seen him in person in a couple years. So it's gonna be really fun to hang out and eat all the vegan food. Because he's vegan and like I just like food. I like trying new food. And then also like, you know, like the Christmas season, the holiday season, it's really nice that we get to kind of slow down. This 10 of Swords is like the end of a cycle also, like because when this happens, that's the end, right? Like that's just the end. So ending this kind of cycle of overwhelm, like negative limiting beliefs, and bringing in lots of fun. And so my sweetheart is way more social than I am. And she's always like, my friends want to meet you. And like, these people want to meet you. And like, we should go do things. And I'm like, okay, let's go. So this card is definitely confirmation that I need to go out and be more social, which I know that I do. So yeah. The next one is Wands. So, okay. And so I got 2 Wands cards here. So this is interesting. So the Tarot Mucha card that I pulled is the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands is about fast action. Like something's going to happen really quickly. Maybe it's like releasing those limiting beliefs. Like that would be really great for that to happen super fast for me to like get back to like freedom and feeling like I have more control over my time. That would be phenomenal. And then the other, sorry. The other card that came up is the Knight of Wands. So knights are very fast acting. The Knight of Wands is the second fastest. I want to say that he might be the fastest. And then Swords after that? I can't ever remember. But Knight of Wands and Knight of Swords are super fast. So I will be taking action on something, and then things will be happening very quickly because of that. So I'm curious if it has to do with this channel, because like I haven't posted in a while because I had so many things going on, right? Like starting school again, and then like work got really crazy, and then like starting a new relationship. And so I have kind of looked at the way that I need to, the word that's coming to mind is recalibrate, but it's really like my energy. Like I have to, I was telling my girlfriend, like I think of time in like these blocks, you know, and that sometimes like the blocks need to be moved around. But it's not like time blocks on a schedule, right? So it's like, okay, I have 4 blocks for work and I have 3 blocks for school. But I only have like 10 blocks, right? And so then I have like this kind of surplus of blocks over here. Except for what I realized is like, I only need 4 blocks for school, but like the extras I had, I was putting 2 extra in here, because I was making myself responsible for things that were not my responsibility. So I'm realizing I need to take away those 2 blocks. And it's like, okay, so maybe 1 block goes to tarot, and then like 1 block goes to spending time with my girlfriend. And then, you know, I got these other blocks, and like maybe, you know, kind of shuffling things around. Or I feel like sometimes like I struggle with like perfectionism. And so starting school again has been a very intentional practice for me of not focusing on getting A's to get A's, because I'm in college, like you don't get a report card. Like they send you your grades, but it's not like nobody's looking at it, right? Like nobody's like, you could have done better. You know, nobody's doing that except for my own inner critic, who is kind of a jerk. And so instead of focusing on like having to do it perfectly, it's like, okay, I want to focus on making sure that I'm learning the things that I'm, you know, taking these classes for, but also that I'm not stressing myself out trying to be perfect, right? So like if I get a B, it's going to be okay. Like it won't be the end of the world, right? I'm using my GI Bill to pay for my tuition. So as long as I don't fail the class, I think that I'll be fine. And so like, I'm like, the whole goal is to pass the class. So it's like, okay, it's going to be okay, self. So, yeah, I feel like I'm taking action on kind of like reorganizing the way that I spend my energy. And I also feel like life has been moving really fast lately, but I don't feel like I don't feel like I can keep up. Like mentally, I feel like it's just like I kind of feel like her, where like all these like wands are flying by, and she's like, "Whoa, what is that? Like, what is this noise? What is happening? Oh my gosh!" So maybe this is about like over the next 3 months, like me taking action to not feel so kind of shaken up and like kind of like caught off guard by what's happening. Okay, and then the last part is the Pentacles card. So, oh, I got another Knight card. Okay, so Knight of Pentacles. This is interesting. And then the Three of Wands. Okay, so Knight of Pentacles is a very slow-moving card. The Knight of Pentacles, I like the analogy of the farmer. Like the Knight of Pentacles is intentional. He does his research. He takes his time. He's not ever in a rush to do things because, you know, farming and growing plants isn't like, it's not quick business, right? That you have to like till the land, and you have to like, you know, figure out which seeds you're going to plant, and you have to actually go in and plant them and water them and like make sure that like, I don't know, like little critters don't steal your seeds or monitoring weather, all these things. And then Three of Wands is a card of, I was going to say Three of Wands can be like watching your ships come in. And so this is, sorry, there's a lot of like things coming in. So this full moon is a harvest moon. And so when you are able to harvest things, it's because you did your due diligence, right? That like you planted things, you cared for those things, you grew those things, and now the harvest is the time when you reap those rewards. And so for me, it's like all the hard work that I've been doing for a really long time, like decades, like decades of my life, like the work that I've been doing, now is the time that I can kind of just pause and like watch things come in. And I feel like September kind of started that season, but there's still a lot of like, for me, there's a lot of disbelief around it that like, is this really my life? Like, okay, so I don't have to like struggle and like hustle and like suffer through things anymore. Like I can just hang out and like, I don't know, like just wait, you know, like I can just like, I could just like receive. The other thing I'm looking at is this falcon. So he had this, I'm assuming before this card, like moments before this image happened, like he probably had this falcon on his arm. And so he's releasing it. And falcons are hunters, but like the thing that comes to mind is really, it feels like the things that like I had been trying so hard to manifest for a really long time, like, now those things are coming back in, right? Because like the falcon goes out and it like hunts for things and then it comes back, right? So it's going to like get something and come back. Like in my mind, it's like, now like I've really learned that like, okay, whatever I want to manifest, like I just like, I know how to do it now. Like instead of like when I was really learning, it's like, okay, I want to manifest this job, but I have to get a degree and then I have to build up my resume and I have to, and it's like, I think when we first learn to manifest things, like we're so focused on us doing all the steps to make the thing happen, but like that's not how manifestation works, right? Like manifestation works because like for me, maybe not for everybody, I'm sure it's different for everybody, like I figure out what is aligned for me. And like the thing that like I feel like it's hard to, I feel like the language that I have to use like doesn't really do it justice, but like I figure out what aligns with like my kind of calling for whatever this thing is, right? So let's say it's like a job, trying to manifest like how to live my purpose, like how to live my, I don't know, calling, my future. And so like once that kind of comes up for me, it's like I just kind of sit with it and like I allow myself to kind of have the feeling of what it will be like when I'm there, like when I'm doing the thing, like, and for me, like that feels like fulfillment, right? It feels like satisfaction. It feels like contentment. And then I just kind of let it go and I give it to the universe, and I trust that the universe is going to kind of show me what to do. And for me, like knowing is really important, right? So having that knowing. So when I kind of release whatever my manifestation is, then like as things come up, like I'll have a sense of knowing that like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this, right? And I think I've shared this before, that I had another YouTube channel that I started during the beginning of the pandemic, when like everybody was like creating all the things because like the world was shut down. And then I had to go back to work because like the quarantine was over, and I didn't have the time and energy to put into that channel anymore. But also like I'm a very different person now. And so the reason I started doing the videos on this channel is because I felt like I was supposed to, like I was getting these kind of nudges where it was like, okay, like you need to You need to make a video and you need to put your face back out there in the world. Go do it. Why aren't you doing it? Are you gonna do it? You don't know what to do? Okay, here's an idea. Do this video. Here's a topic. Here's this. Here's that. And so like that kind of, I think some people call it alignment. To me, it's like this kind of having open ears, open mind, because that's how it kind of comes through for me, where it's like, it's like hearing things inside of my mind, but it sounds different than like when I'm thinking, if that makes sense. And so just kind of being open to like hearing the things that kind of drop into my mind and like following those things. So yeah, I am interested to see like what other things that like I have been trying to manifest for a really long time that are going to start to just fly back in, like that are going to start to be like harvested for me. Because I feel like there's things that are already happening now. And also like I'm looking at these other cards and I realize that 3 out of the, nope, all 4. All 4 of my cards have knights in them, which is very interesting. So these 2 are knights, knights do battle. And then these are knight cards, which are knights also. So this is very, very, very interesting. Yeah, so it looks like I'm, there's a lot of action that I have taken. There's some that I need to take. There's some that, someone else is taking. And then also like kind of recovery. So, yeah, very interesting. And I think the most interesting part for me has been like the knights are armored, right, for the purpose of protection because they're going into battle. And I think that for me, for a long time, like I lived very, very armored. And I'm just coming into a place in my life now where I realize that I don't have to live that way. And that like, I don't think I've ever wanted to live that way, at least not for as long as I did. And so like now seeing that I have all of these like really lovely people in my life that like it's safe for me to take that armor off, which like love that for me. Like I love that for anybody. But yeah, so that's been my reading. This is really good. Sounds weird, like that, like it's not that like I did a great reading, like this, like I just love these cards that like spirit kind of like this little message is like, hey, look at you ending cycles, and like look at you going out and having fun, like look at you taking back your power from the things that kind of made your head spin because they were moving so fast. And yeah, and like also I love like the knight cards in each group because I feel like that it's a very like grounding energy, like it's a very stable energy, a very even energy across all the areas of my life, which I have started to feel that lately, but I love that like that's how I'm gonna spend the rest of the year, is just like really feeling stable and grounded and like even keel, because who doesn't need that? Maybe other people, I need that. I need that as a Capricorn rising, earth sign. And then as a Cancer sun, I am a big fan of stability and security. So I hope you enjoyed my reading as much as I did. And I just want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.